today on the Hair of the Dog podcast, I'm talking with my friend and Academy and Elevate coach, Kim Hartz, and we are talking about managing, well, all of the things. If you are someone that is pretty busy, running around, managing a business, maybe managing a full-time job, managing dogs, managing humans, managing a household, managing the 8,000 things that most of us are managing on any given day, well, this one's for you. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Hair of the Dog podcast. If you're a pet photographer ready to make more money and start living a life by your design, you've come to the right place. And now, your host, pet photographer, travel addict, chocolate martini connoisseur, Nicole Begley.
Hey everybody, Nicole here from Hair of the Dog podcast, and welcome back. Today we have a great guest with us, none other than Kim Hartz from Kim Hartz Photography down in Houston, Texas. Kim is also a coach in the Hair of the Dog Academy and in the Hair of the Dog Elevate program. And we love Kim around these parts. And she's also been on the podcast 2 times already, episode 15, way back in the beginning, talking about client inquiries. And then episode 97 about getting started with off-camera flash. Woo! Hey, Kim, welcome back for your hat trick podcast. 3rd time's a charm.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So for people that don't know you, maybe do you want to give them the quick high-level background of your business and how your photography journey has been?
Sure. So I opened my studio back in 2010. Starting with general portraiture. I kind of did it all because that's what I was kind of told you had to do in order to be successful. About 6 months in, I figured out I didn't like a lot of different types of photography I was doing. Like I photographed seniors, I did weddings. I thought I was—
You did weddings? I didn't know you did weddings.
A very handful and hated every minute of it. So I didn't do many. Let's go with that. And then I thought I was going to be a boudoir photographer. That was where I was going with my work. And no, didn't really like that, and realized I really love pets or animals, and had just gotten a golden retriever and was photographing her all the time. So about 6 months in, I decided I'm going to completely change what I'm doing and become a pet photographer, which was not a thing at the time, really. I mean, there were like 4 people in Houston doing it.
Right.
And only one other was doing studio. So I was like, well, I want to do studio photography and I want to do pet photography. So I completely changed everything up and went for it. And now we're, 12 years later and doing it. So,
Right. And you did newborns for a long time too, right?
Yeah. So I started doing just pets at 6 months, like when I kind of rebranded my business. And then I realized all my friends were getting married and having babies. And I didn't really want to miss that train. So I educated myself heavily on newborn photography, because you can't just one day you're going to do it. And I did that for a long time and photographed pets and babies together. That was and I will still do it for good clients or referrals, but I don't advertise the newborns anymore.
Okay.
Just nice. Newborns are exhausting. I mean,
they are. I never did a wedding in my life, but I did do newborns for a hot minute. And I was like, what? No, this is not for me.
And it got to the point where I would kind of dread those sessions because they were like 3 hours long.
Right.
You have to make small talk, which I can do, but it just gets exhausting.
Yeah.
And, as much as I love those cute little babies, I'm good now. So I took them off my website and I'm now just pets.
Oh, I didn't realize that. How long ago did you do that?
Maybe last year. It hasn't been that long, but like I said, I still will do it.
Yeah, right. That's how I did when I stopped doing families, because you guys might know that I started as family pet photographer, because again, it was 2010. It was like, well, certainly can't just do pets. I better do humans too to make some money. Mm-hmm. And I gave those up about 2015, but it was a soft give up because I stopped marketing, but I told all my clients that I liked.
Exactly.
I will continue to photograph your family for as long as you want me to.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. I mean, I had a family contact me that had their 5th daughter, and I photographed the first 4, and I'm like, no.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, of course I'll still do it, but it's got to be the right person.
Yeah, for sure.
I still have all my newborn gear. I won't get rid of it.
Because you have the
bean bag, the heater, and so. But I'm few and far between that I will actually take at this point.
Well, and then you just have to wait like, I don't know, 10 years or so till like all your past clients are like out of the realm of, having babies anymore. And then you'd be like, okay, now I can safely get rid of all this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Cause I don't want to just not have it. But at the same time, you got to make decisions of what's good for you and your business. And I was just done with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. It can be scary, but it's definitely, I think, in your heart what you want to do.
Yeah.
And even if it is scary to make that change because, our ego likes to all of a sudden be like, well, this is how you ruin your business.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things too. Like if I see somebody hire like somebody else for newborn photography, even though I don't even want to do it anymore.
Right.
There's a part of me that's like, oh, come on, I missed that. And I'm like, no. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because you still want money coming in, but at the same time, like you want to enjoy what you do. And
yeah.
I think what was my last newborn shoot might have been, no, I had one, but I photographed all my own children and I had Eleanor in 2020. I think I did one after that.
Yeah.
Or two. I don't know. But yeah, so no, so done.
All right, sweet. Excellent.
Moving away from the newborns, yeah.
Yes, yeah, because this is not a newborn photography podcast and never will be. So don't you guys worry out there.
It never goes that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Anyway, all right. So doing all the pets. One of the brilliant things about you, Kim, is I feel like you're such an excellent teacher on so many different levels, from the craft and the studio and the lighting to just like really knowing your stuff business wise. Plus you're juggling your business, plus you're juggling 3 little kids. I mean, I only have 2 kids and the youngest one's almost 12 now. So they like take care of themselves and it's the most amazing thing ever. So one of the thing that kicked this podcast off was in our Elevate group that in your accountability pod, they wanted to get some more, how to manage like time management. How do you keep all these balls in the air? And that's something I think everybody struggles with, because the common denominator that I have found is, before you have kids, you think you're busy, and then you have kids and you're like, oh, you have 8 kids. And you're like, oh my God, how did I ever think I was busy? And then you have 2 kids. You're like, oh my God, how did I ever think I was busy? Then you have 3 and I can't even imagine. I'm never going to know. But I imagine it's like, oh my God, 2 was so easy. What was I thinking?
Yeah. That sums it up pretty nicely.
Yeah. And so even if you don't have kids, it's probably the same as like the 1 dog, 2 dog, 3 dogs. And, or you're juggling a full-time job and trying to build your photography business. So no matter what lifestyle you have, what dependence, human or animal you care for, the common denominator is we're all stressed and busy.
Yes.
Yeah. I know sometimes I actually look back at like 2 years ago at the beginning of COVID. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know how good we had it when we had nothing to do.
I know. It's nice that things are going back, but there's part of me it really enjoyed having nothing to do. And
right.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah. And I feel like my kind of litmus test, my level of acceptability of busy has definitely shifted because of that I need more white space on my calendar than I used to. And actually looking at my calendar this year, I'm looking at it on the wall and I have it blocked out in purple when I'm out of town. Mm-hmm. Kim, I love to travel.
Oh, I do.
But this year I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that might be too much. I mean, so far, so good. I'm a quarter of the way through. The next 1, 2, through the end of July, actually through the end of summer is like the next big chunk. And then the last quarter is just 1 trip. But, it's all the stuff that we had planned during the pandemic that had gotten pushed off. I mean, 3 workshops and then a couple vacations and then mastermind meetings and, sprinkle on some horse shows. Yeah. And I want to do all of it. Right. So there's nothing on there that's like, I'm not dreading going to Italy over the end of June. Yes, absolutely. I'm also, not dreading teaching workshops, like so fun. Like get to go to Scotland in a month.
Like the getting there. And it's not like I mind getting there. It's just like the prep and all because it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And then I know I struggle. I don't know how much you struggle with this, but I definitely struggle with I've got time for that. And then realizing later that I really don't.
No. It's so easy to, we want to do everything and we want to, have this time for everything. You realize you don't. And it can be very stressful then. It's like, well, I said I could do it. And
right.
I've gotten very good at saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to get to that point, but it's impossible to make everybody happy and to make, what happens is you say yes to everything, you do all these things, and then you're unhappy.
Right.
I think that's, where the shift needs to be. And it's a, finding that balance is really difficult. And I do think that, like, I like what you said about COVID needing the more white space, because it's true. Like, we had more time for ourselves, to not worry about, I've got to do all these things. And now that it's coming back, I feel the same way. Like, I don't want my calendar as full. I mean, I still want it full, but not that full.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I don't know what that distinction is, but
yeah. Oh man, for real. So, let's talk some high level strategies first, maybe. Like, do you have anything that you kind of look at for like planning your year, or putting like the big rocks in first, or just what are kind of the first steps maybe you look at to make sure things stay under control in the time management division?
Oh, there's a lot of layers in there. So I do look at the big picture because I think that's super helpful. I look, based on the beginning of the year, I always do a marketing calendar, and I always do a new business plan at the beginning of the year. And I see where, okay, I want to be busy at these times during the year. And I kind of plan for that. Like, I put it in my calendar. Okay, I need to start marketing this, or I need to focus on this. But then you got to look at other things too. I mean, I have 3 kids. I've got to look at the school calendar. And I've got to look at all these different things. But first and foremost, when it comes to the business, I definitely figure out which areas I know I need to start promotion for, and which areas I need to block off that I know is more time for family. And I put that in so that I don't. The worst thing is scheduling over things, because it's so easy to do if it's not in your calendar. So I highly recommend using a calendar. I don't care what it is. I feel like most people do, but it's still easy. Like, there will be sometimes I'll be staring at my calendar and I'll look at a day and I go, I know there's something on this day. I know there is.
That happened to me on Monday, and it was, and I was like, that I know I have a 9:00 Zoom, but there was something else. What the heck was it? I know there was something else. It turned out it was a client sales session, which I did remember like an hour later, because I was just like, I know there's something else. And we had talked, finalized it on email, and I never put it on my calendar.
That's the worst feeling in the world, and that's happened to me before. So put things down as soon as they happen, and in advance. Like, one thing too that I like to do is, if I have things coming up, just whatever, if I know I need to get stuff done in a month, I schedule it on my calendar. Like, yes. Because if you don't, it's just like, oh, I'm going to just sit at my desk and do lots of things. Then I get sidetracked doing done. And so I physically put it in my calendar so that I get it done. Because otherwise it's so easy to forget.
Yeah, right. And you have to treat that like to block off if you have a big, like, I need to revamp my pricing and create my new pricing guide. Like, you just need to block off time and treat that as non-negotiable, because I think we very easily like, oh, somebody else needs something from me. Yeah, I can push that. It's just me. And that's a slippery slope of then just resentment and never getting anything done.
I think that's a great point, because if we don't, we easily push our own stuff to the back burner and then it doesn't get done.
Right.
I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people. That's why I actually schedule it in the calendar. And then I used to, the schedule I feel like has changed a lot since COVID, but I would have one day where I wouldn't take clients during the week, and where I just focus on all the stuff I need to get done. Like, some people call it Marketing Monday, even though it's like not just marketing, it's whatever I need to get done, catch up on emails, the pricing. I just actually redid my pricing. So I did that one day. But you need to have a day where you can do all the administrative things in your business if you don't have somebody to help you do it.
Right. Absolutely. And even the administrative things in your life, your personal stuff too, to have a plan for that. So that you're not just spending any time like on the weekend. The worst thing I think is, when you are working when I was working full time at the aviary or, not in the house.
Right.
And then, so it was like, then you get to your weekend and it's like, well, now I have to spend the whole weekend like managing all the stuff around the house that I didn't get done all week.
Yeah.
So, I'm a huge proponent of outsourcing. I mean, there's no way that Hair of the Dog could run without the team because I physically can't do it. Like,
no, I mean,
it's not possible.
it's so hard to have all the moving parts in your own business if that's all, not your thing is like totally, you need help. I think I would go insane if I had to deal with all those moving parts and didn't have help. But I think, outsourcing I'm a huge proponent of outsourcing. Mm-hmm. Anything and everything that I don't do the best or don't have to do, I outsource. Mm-hmm. And that, it takes a lot off your plate and it relieves some of the stress. But then also one of the things too, I think, is creating a schedule, even though we are our own bosses and I work from home, you work from home. I still know that I like to schedule my clients during a certain set of hours. And it's not like my normal, like whatever, Monday through Thursday, I'm open 10 to 4 or whatever. I just know I like to do them like between 9 and 1. Mm-hmm. Typically. And that's when I schedule not just my clients, but like my calls for Elevate and the Academy, because I know that's just, I work better in those hours.
Yeah.
Because in the afternoon, I've got all these moving parts. I've got carpool, I've got baseball, softball. I've got, all this stuff going on that's not within my business, but that I still have to manage.
Right. Exactly. 100%. Totally agree. So I think one of the things to try to get a handle, one of the to-dos is to look at your calendar and figure out like, all right, where do I actually have responsibilities? Mm-hmm. And where do I want to slot these work pieces in and then schedule it that way. So mine like changes throughout the year depending on winter or summer. Because in the summer, I like to do my calls and schedule my things in the afternoon because I go to the barn in the morning because it gets too hot in the afternoon. Right. But in the winter, it's too cold in the morning, so I go to the barn in the afternoon. So I do more things in the morning. So I have this like seasonality to my schedule as well. But the key is just knowing when you need to do it, and then also knowing your own kind of time of genius of the day. Like if you ask me to do deep work at 3 p.m,
oh no, I'm tapped
or
out.
Later. I mean, I can barely like sign my name at 8 p.m. I mean, it's no.
I'm with you, but I think knowing that about yourself is very important because I mean, half the time I get home from carpool and I feel like I need a nap. And I'm pick one, but I feel like I could use one. So I know that's why I schedule in the morning because I'm better in the morning. I'm more. And, in the summers, I still schedule in the morning because I do. It's kind of the seasonality thing too, except it's cold in the morning where I am in the summers. Right. More stuff in the afternoon.
Yeah. Right.
And then I think too, having boundaries is very important. Whatever they may be, depending on if you work full time or if you do this during the week, have set hours for yourself and try to work within those hours. Even if you work during the week, have a few set hours on the weekend, but not the whole weekend. You got to set boundaries so that you can have a life. I think that time management really comes into play there, because if I didn't have boundaries in my business, I would lose my mind. Mm-hmm. I have
and you wouldn't even, at least I wouldn't realize it until it was too late. because we like to work in our business. Like, I love it. So it's not like I gotta go do work. Like, I want to go do some work. And so it's a really dangerous slippery slope because we enjoy it, that we can then choose that short-term business stuff over like the long-term actual important things in our life that, we friends, family.
Exactly. I mean, and I used to work when I first opened my business 24/7 and I had a retail space. So I was never home. Mm-hmm. And I found myself, I took a session on a Sunday and I never took sessions on Sunday. That's like my one day I like to do nothing on Sunday, literally nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even want to get dressed. So that's my Sunday. That's what I enjoy. And I remember photographing these, it was 2 Cavaliers and all my family was at like a football game and I was working and I thought to myself, what am I doing? Like I hated every minute I was at my studio because I was missing out. And I was just like, this is silly. I don't have to work on a Sunday. And so I changed things, put in a lot of boundaries for myself. And it's hard to turn off, when it's 5 o'clock to walk away, especially if it's in your house or whatever time you turn off. And I think you just have to make yourself, especially I know people get sucked in when they edit their images. And I use a retouch artist now because it was like a time suck. And I don't have time to be editing all these images when it's little things like editing fur off a sofa or the floor or, moving drool. I'll just send that to my guy so I can spend time with my family. And I think if you do still edit your own work, that's fine. People love it, obviously, but give yourself a time limit. I'm only going to edit for an hour, and then I'm done.
Or if you like, what I do is if there's one that I'm emotionally connected to, I'll edit that one and then I'll outsource others. I don't need to remove 20 leashes. I've been there, done that.
Right. And having a retouch artist is actually, people are like, oh no, first, a lot of people are opposed to someone else retouching their work, but then also they worry about the cost, but really it saves you so much time. And it's the time you sitting in front of the computer earning nothing versus shooting it out to somebody who does this super quick and you don't have to do the tedious stuff. I haven't removed a leash and I can't tell you how long.
Right.
I don't need to.
Do you have an individual person that does your retouching? Yeah. Where did you find them? He
reached out to me actually about 2 years into my business. I think he worked with another photographer in Houston and she was closing her studio. And he found me. I met with him at my studio and he lives in Houston. I've given his name out so many times because it's so easy. I text him that I've put images in the Dropbox folder. I've got detailed instructions. He Dropboxes them back and that's it. It's so easy.
Oh, that's so great.
I know. And so I've worked with him now. It's been 10 years that he knows exactly what I need when I say I want a basic retouch of this image. And and he's super quick. I actually did a headshot on Monday. And the person I photographed was like, can I possibly get one of these today? And I'm like, well, I'll see. And he gave me both of the images back that day. No problem.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and they looked great. I didn't have to do anything. And headshots too, especially. I hate retouching those. I've heard of retouch dogs.
Right.
So I'm happy to just shoot him headshots. But he's very quick and it makes my life so much easier because I would have had to spend, an hour or two, depending on, all the things that need to be done. Because I don't do it all the time anymore too. So it's it takes longer now.
Right.
So I do my final edits on all of my images that go for wall art, but he does all the tedious stuff.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. I've used Evolve Edits, which is a company. They do I used to send out for a hot minute my Lightroom retouching, but I wanted to choose. I couldn't let go of the control of calling my stuff. I need to call my own images.
Oh yeah, I call my own images. I don't think I could give that away.
No, I that was a hard no for me too. Yeah. And then I found that my Lightroom tweaks were so quick and easy that it took me just as much time to prep them, send them out, get them back, re-import them than it was just to do my Lightroom edits.
Yeah.
So I do that all myself, but then I do send out leash removals.
Oh, yeah.
Unless, if it's something super quick, yes. But if it's someone that's getting the whole gallery and it's the dog was on leash for the whole time. So there's a gazillion of them. No.
Think of all the time that you save and really the cost is dependent. I don't how much your service costs, but I know my price is not that expensive and he's quick.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Mine's super quick too. I think last time I checked, there was $75 an hour, but I would send off a whole session and it'd be only charged an hour and a half at the most. Yeah. I'm like, boom.
My guy's $25 an hour.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know, but it is only him. I don't know. He's great. So I love using him.
Yeah. And, you guys can find, if you guys are out there listening, you're like, I would love to do this. You can definitely find people on Upwork or Fiverr because there's a lot of editors on there and you can send off, hire 5 as a test and send them 2 or 3 images and see who does the best work, who gets back to you quickly. And then you can create a relationship with them. It's really not that hard. I think a lot of people just get stuck in the unknown because it seems scary and it's they're not going to do it as good as me. Well, it's going to take maybe a little bit of time. And with how easy it is now to do screen recordings with Loom, it's free. You just go to the website Loom and you record your screen and you can show them exactly this is how I do my eyes. This is how I do this. So they can finish it exactly how you would finish it.
That's a great idea. I mean,
yeah.
And you may find too that you have to try a few people out, but finding the right person and having that taken off your plate, it frees up so much time. So you have to think about, what do you do best? And even if you're a great retoucher, retouching out 20 leashes is not making you any more money. It's just taking your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you're not going to use that time for like shooting another session or doing some more marketing, like, isn't your just self-care or like your downtime worth something?
Yeah.
I think it is.
It totally is. And we always put ourselves on the back burner. I feel like I got to knock out, this whole session. So, I can't have dinner with my family tonight, or I'm going to put the kids to bed and then I'm going to edit for 5 hours,
Right.
It's going to drive you insane. I mean, you have to have a little bit of balance. So like, I'm done. Like, I have hard hours. As soon as I walk out of my studio or my studio is closed for the day, I'm done. I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm not going to respond to emails until the next day, unless I'm going to look at them. If it's an emergency, obviously I'll get back.
Yeah, right.
But as far as with clients, no, there's got to be limits. I mean, especially now that everybody's on their cell phones for their clients, if they have your direct cell, like, I mean, people don't have any respect for other people's time. Like,
no.
The calls or texts or whatever, like late, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, I have separate cell phones for that very reason, because I was getting those because a client had a cell phone. And, you have to have downtime. Like, once I'm done working, I've got picking my kids up, I'm cooking dinner, we've got after school activities. And then once they go to bed, I want to do literally nothing. Like,
right, exactly.
Literally nothing. I'm going to sit on the couch, watch a show, or I'm going to read a book. And, that's it. I do feel a little bad because I recently finished season 2 of Bridgerton, and I may have given my kids a melatonin for the last night. I was like, watching the show, you're going to bed. You got to have a little bit of
I mean, no, it's fine. It's fine. You're a better mom because of it.
I don't do it all the time, and they needed to go to bed. So, yeah. Dad was also out of town, so I was like, y'all are going to bed.
Yeah, like, good night. Like, you can't stay here and you can't stay up. So I don't care what you do in your room, but go to your room.
Exactly. I love it. It's important because even if you don't have kids, I mean, you have other stuff going on in your life. You got to have some time for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And to make that non-negotiable, I think one of the other things that people can do is to ask themselves, what are the non-negotiable things in my business? Is it I don't shoot Sundays? Is it I don't work, I don't work Monday, whatever. Like, what day is it that you don't work? What hours do you stop? Making those hard stops of, maybe you have to hard stop yourself, or like make rule of like, I will only take 5 clients a month because, 1 October you took like 8 and you're pulling your hair out. Yeah. So making those non-negotiables and then building your business around it, because that's the beauty of these businesses, is like your business, my business, all the other coaches, all of our students, like everybody's business is different and it's built differently on purpose because it suits their life better.
Right. I mean, I think that's key is really figuring out, I love how you said, making those decisions on those hard stops, because it is important. I mean, what I do is going to be very different from what, you do, and what's important to you and what's important to me is going to vary, and everyone else. So, but figuring out, if you need time, on a certain day, or you don't want to work weekends, that's okay. Like, decide what that is.
Yep.
And you stick to it. And that's probably the hardest part, because you're going to have a client, or you're going to have somebody be like, well, can you just make an exception? And you can always do that, but it depends if you want to do that.
Right.
Again, I haven't worked weekends for years. I don't like to work weekends. I have little kids. I have so much stuff going on the weekends now with baseball and softball. Like, if I'm working, it puts Ted in a really tough position. Plus, I miss all that stuff. So I just am very clear, and I just don't. And you know what? People, if they really want me, they make the adjustment to come in. If they really want that weekend, I'll refer them to somebody else, because I have to have my, balance. There's no way to say it, because I would feel guilty. Like, I don't want to feel guilty for not taking them, but at the same time, I don't want to resent taking them and every minute wishing I could be somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not fair to anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, and your work's going to be better too if you're actually enjoying the session versus trying to get through it.
Yeah, and I think so many people are scared to make that hard line in their business because they think they're going to lose everyone and no one's going to work with them. But if they love your work and they connect with you, they will find a way to work with you. They will take a day off. They will go into work late, especially if you're not shooting in studio, like, natural light or shooting outdoors. I mean, half the year they can do it after work on the weekdays.
Yeah.
I actually prefer there's like 1 or 2 weeknights I'll take a client, but my number one value is freedom and flexibility. Like, I want to just do what I want when I want, like on my calendar. I don't if I was a wedding photographer and had to give up a weekend a year in advance, that does not work for me. And so much that I kind of pulled this into my business too, of I don't mind shooting on weekends if I'm around, if I'm home. It's actually kind of easier because there's less going on with like running the kids to school, because, I like to be during golden hour, but the evenings during the weekdays are like, I'm just driving them. I'm just driving Miss Daisy here. I'm sports chauffeur around these parts. And, my husband works till like 6 or, so he works a little bit later. Regardless. So I don't mind shooting on the weekends, but I'm not going to give up a weekend in advance. I'm not going to look and be like, oh yeah, I can do that weekend in June. Like now, right now it's April. I'm not going to confirm, but I will say to a client, yes, I'm going to give you we can do a weekend in June. I'll be in touch towards the end of May or the beginning of June, and we'll pick our time. We'll pick our date. So I know, because I'm only taking, like 3 clients a month is max for me with all the other stuff I have going on with the dog and everything else. So, that works for me, and the client's totally fine. I'm like, yeah, you've got your October session. I'll be in touch as we get closer, and we'll figure out our exact time and date.
I think that's a great way to do it, because I don't like getting locked into a certain weekend either, because then something comes up that you want to do, and it's like, oh, no, I've got that session that day.
Right.
No. So I think that's a great way to approach it. Because you still want the client, but you got to have it work for you. I mean,
yeah. And, and if it was depending, like if my weekdays were easier, I probably wouldn't shoot weekends, except then and again, we make the rules. Right. Like I tried not to work Sundays for a while, like Sunday mornings, except there was one location here and one location in Pittsburgh that I loved to shoot at. And Sunday morning was by far the best time, because it was like a warehouse. Like during the week, there was just too much downtown traffic, parking, working people. Saturdays from morning to night, the place was packed because it's like warehouse shopping, like food, warehouse kind of things. But Sunday morning, nothing's open. You'd be down there, be like just you and your clients, and like all the parking spaces are open, so you can get to the cool warehouse doors. You can, there it's just like photographer's playground. So I'm like, yes, I will work every Sunday morning to shoot there.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if it's a place like that and it makes, for sure.
But I would not refuse. Like if they're like, oh, I want to shoot at North Park. No, I won't do that on a Sunday morning or Saturday morning, because we could do that any day.
Oh yeah. Well then, no. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. That's the kind of thing in the studio. Yeah. I can shoot anytime. So
I know, that's fantastic.
I'm definitely not going to be like, let's do Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
No, but, and I definitely worried as well when I got rid of the weekend sessions that I was going to have huge pushback. And I really didn't, because like you said, if people really want to come to you, they will. And I also tell them, look, the majority of my clients will either take a lunch or they'll take a half day. And that's how, it works. And when people hear what other people do too, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It gives them permission to, take some time off work to go get their dog photographed, because in their head, they're thinking like, what kind of crazy person takes the day off work to get their dog photographed? People are going to think I'm nuts.
But but I mean, I think letting them know that is always helpful, because people are more likely to do what other people do.
Absolutely.
So being like, oh yeah, my clients typically do XYZ, even if they haven't, if this is a new thing for you and they haven't started doing it, still say it.
Yeah, right. It's that's that magic too. When you're talking to somebody about inquiry, say most clients do this or that, and you have your collections most popular. Like, yes,
people tend to gravitate towards what other people do. Yeah,
and it gives them that kind of subconscious permission to do so.
Yeah, it does. So, but also, you can make exceptions for clients you want to, but you don't have to. So if you have a really annoying client that's like, but I just have to have a Saturday, you don't have to do that if you don't really want to take them or have that Saturday. But versus if it's a client that you know and love and you're happy to do that, then do it. Like I have one client that I've made the exception to take them on a weekend before or like a Friday afternoon, but they've come to me for, since I opened, and I love them and they're great.
Yeah.
So of course I will do whatever works for them, as long, works for me too. But yeah, so other people that are really pushy, I just shoot them down. Like, no, I'm sorry, I have to book between these hours because I just
and then if they choose to go somewhere else, you'd be like, oh, I might have dodged a bullet there.
Totally, yeah. So I mean, don't feel like you have to take literally everybody. Try to feel them out, make sure they're a good fit.
The other thing you can do too, if you're really worried about like, oh, I really don't want to work weekends, but I have this mental block of no one's going to book me if I don't, you can make the weekends a little bit more expensive. I have some sort of surcharge.
I totally did that because I was, this is when I was first transitioning from getting away from weekends. And I thought, okay, what can I do to kind of push people towards the weekday?
Yep.
And I think my session at the time was $150 for a studio session during the week. And my location session was $250. And if you wanted a weekend shoot, I would do it, but the session fees doubled. So it was $300 for studio and $500 for location. And then I had somebody book me for a location session and they paid it. And I went to the session. I was like, I still hate every minute of what's happening here. So I thought, okay, well, it's not worth it to me. Just even though it was double the session, I was like, nope. And I just got rid of it. And so my studio session now is $300. So I just kept it there because people were paying it. I was like, okay. But yeah, no, I mean, if it's worth it to you to double it and it makes, you feel better about shooting on the weekend or whatever, however you want to structure it, go for it. But do it and you realize that you still hate it, then maybe you don't do it.
Yep. Yeah. And truly, people will, if you're producing great work, you have a nice website, you're giving them the experience, you're showcasing the value, and they want to work with you, they will find a way to work with you, even if you're not available on the weekends or on a certain evening or whatever you think you need to be available for.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I mean, you make it work for you and in your life, the hours you need, people will find a way if they want to work with you. But you have to do that for yourself. Otherwise, your business becomes this thing that you kind of resent. I have to work this day. I mean, isn't that why we became photographers and our own bosses, so that we don't have to worry about that anymore?
Yeah. What's that quote of, I left a 40-hour work week working for someone else so I could work 80 hours for myself.
Oh yeah, I know. Because that's why outsourcing, setting boundaries, scheduling things so you don't have to hopefully work the 80 hours. Cause like now I definitely, like when I first started, I totally worked that, if not more, all the time. And then I realized that I didn't have to do all of that anymore. Like I have outsourcing things like your bookkeeper, your CPA, my retouching, trying to think what else, like, I have a framer I use that makes it super simple for me to get custom frame pieces. Just every little thing that I could do, a graphic designer, because I would spend hours trying to, come up with a perfect marketing piece. And then I scrapped it because I hated it, and there's so many more options now, like,
oh yeah,
with like that design pickle and like Canva and just things that you can do. But you realize that your business is not benefiting for you doing every little thing. Like you're running yourself into the ground and probably not producing the quality of work that you could if you could take a few of these things off your plate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there becomes a time too, like at the beginning when you're like, I don't have any income yet, like I'm bootstrapping. Okay. You're cash poor and I mean, none of us are time rich per se, but you have more time than cash. So, okay, it makes more sense to do that.
Sure.
But as you start to have clients, you start to have money coming into your business, I think you should at least once a year, if not once a quarter, kind of sit down and like make a note of what you do each week. And then look at that and be like, what do I need to be doing on this list? And what can I outsource or delegate or delete or like automate or, do something with, so you don't have to physically do it. And that can be personal things. That can be work things. Like for instance, like hiring someone to clean your house or having someone to do the yard. Or I'm actually even considering, Brett and I are making this list right now of like hiring like a college student, like personal assistant for like 3 or 4 hours a week, just to like go return that thing to TJ Maxx and like make this reservation, like just random personal nonsense, you know, that I spent like yesterday. I ran off to go paddleboarding. I had to stop at the bank, which I actually had to stop for, you know, an account thing. And then go to the post office and drop stuff off at Goodwill. And so I'm like, how much time am I spending doing all this stuff when I have this giant list of things that I want to do at home and for work? So
I think that's a great idea.
Yes, I challenge this. This is the challenge I'm throwing down for this podcast. You guys need to find one thing in your life over the next week to just stop doing, something that's like, why am I even doing this? Doesn't do anything. Something to delegate either to someone else in your house, you know, like, hey kids, unload the dishwasher, you know, things like that, or outsource. You know, you can outsource to delegate to, or automate something. So is there something you're manually doing that you could like do at once and set up some sort of automation that it can just happen on its own?
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
I like it. I should do that challenge for even more things.
You know, you'd be surprised how much time you can free up. Like,
yeah. I
mean, little things like I was just thinking back to my first year in business and I did all my own bookkeeping and I hated doing it. So I'd wait till I had like 3 or 4 months that I had to go through. No, it's not awful.
That's terrible.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And so, I think about all the time I wasted and now I hire a bookkeeper and I just shoot her my stuff and she sends it back and it's done. Yeah. So, I mean, just little things like that. That was a big thing actually, but I mean, tiny little things you can take off your plate, even personal. I love that you mentioned the personal stuff because, you know, we want our businesses to run smoothly, but we want our lives to run smoothly. And sometimes you need help and that's okay. Figure out where you need it the most and try to get it.
Right. And I think the personal stuff, a lot of, especially for women, comes up as I'm not worthy of this or people are going to judge me. And I'm sure people will judge me if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm hiring a personal assistant, whatever. I don't care.
No, like, it's amazing.
And it is truly, I think it is harder for women to do this. Denise Duffield-Thomas, you know of her, the money mindset, like she's big online educator. I remember a blog post she had about all the things, which my like creme de la creme, big time dream. I know I've made it in life when I'm able to hire like a personal chef.
Oh my God. I've looked into it and just because I mean, that would be amazing. Like, I just don't have time a lot of times now. And
or even have somebody come like once a week and prepare like 3 dinners.
Okay,
and
I totally looked into it and then I never did anything about it. But yeah, it was because it's, you know, you feel kind of bad.
But yeah, you do. You feel kind of because you're like, we've been conditioned that like, oh, and you know, my husband's super helpful, but it's still like so much stuff falls on the mom, on the woman of the house, just to like keep it all organized.
Grocery shopping, dinner, making sure everybody has everything they need for school. Yeah, no, it's a lot, and I felt bad recently because actually I looked into that. Yeah, and I found this place that has like pre-made dinners. And they're really good. And I pick those up several times a week because I just can't do it all. And I felt bad in the beginning. And now I'm like, I don't feel bad.
Well, and now you look at it like, okay, now my family's going to get a healthier meal than if I was going to like put together like, oh, I guess we're having pasta and some frozen meatballs again.
Right. Pasta with
here's a frozen pizza.
That you're having.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Here's nuggets again, kids. Oh, pizza bagels.
I know. Right. So yeah, I felt guilty in the beginning and then I was like, no, because it's easier for me. It frees up time for other things. And we still sit down and have dinner together. It's not like we're missing family dinners and I don't feel bad anymore.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And you shouldn't. And I think that it's really easy for us, like getting outsourcing our business is one hurdle of like, that's one, you know, mindset of like, oh my God, like, can I afford it? Like you're not bringing these outsourcers on as a paid position, like a W-2, like you need to pay them every week. Like you're paying them when you have it's project-based employment. Like I have images to edit this week, so I will pay you. Right. I don't, so I'm not. So that should be fairly easy to start to get over. But then the personal does become this whole other like major guilt trip, weird society driven, women are supposed to want to take care of their family. Women are supposed to want to do the house. Women are supposed to do it all. I call bullshit on that.
No, I'm glad you do, because I don't understand, but it's like ingrained in our, I don't know. I've just always, it's part of my job as a wife and a mother to take care of the house, to provide dinner, to make sure things are clean, make sure the kids have their stuff for school, make sure there's groceries in the house. And that on top of everything else I have to do, it's a lot.
Yeah. I've got to make the doctor's appointments.
Yes.
I need to make sure that, the seasons are changing. What shorts still fit? Like, your shoes don't fit anymore.
I gotta go through Wilhelmina's clothes too. You just reminded me. Damn it. Sorry.
Sorry. Let's but anyway, so back to this Denise Duffield Thomas blog post. It was, she's doing a 7-figure business and she has kids and she has a nanny for the kids. She has a chef. She has someone cleaning her house. So she has all of this help.
Yes.
And she openly said, this is all the help I have. And here is all of the freaking pushback. And here's all of the crazy. And people wanted to eat her alive of why'd you have kids? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, because I'm a better mom and I can actually spend time with them. If I can actually have structured work time, then I can actually be present with them later. And I don't have to spend my weekend cleaning the house because I can actually spend my weekend with my kids.
I fully support
tired
that.
out.
No, fully support I don't have the private chef. But
yeah, I know. That's why I said that's my dream.
Oh, I know. But I do have a nanny. I couldn't work without a nanny. I have a 16-month-old child.
Right.
She's not in school yet. She'll be in school in the fall. But no, I've had a nanny since I've had kids, and I never wanted to be that person because I felt like there was a stigma of oh, you have a nanny.
Right.
Nice. You know what? It is nice, but it also allows me to work.
Yeah.
I love my children. It's not like I don't spend time with them. It allows me to work during the hours we mentioned at the beginning, uninterrupted. And then I do all the carpools. I love carpool. I stick them to all their stuff. So I'm not missing that stuff, but I couldn't do what I do without that help until they're fully in school, which that starts at 6, where they actually go for a full day.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to have that for a while. And, I do have somebody that helps me clean the house too, because I don't have time.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I don't feel guilty about those two things anymore. I used to.
Yeah.
But
me too.
In order to, be able to work, which I love to work, I don't want to stop working. I have to have that help right now until my kids are, how old are your kids? 12 and what?
12, well, almost 12 and 15.
Oh, so then you just, don't even have to worry.
I know. Well, that's what, I do still make my son's lunch because he leaves for school at 7:05. So it's super early, but next year for middle school, it won't start till 9:15. So then he's going to be making his own lunch. I have 8 more weeks of lunch making duties, which is the other job that I absolutely hate is lunch packing.
Yes, it's the worst. And the kids, I was so happy when Milo got to kindergarten this year because they eat in the cafeteria and he is the pickiest of pickiest eaters. And I don't have to worry about it. It's amazing. I love it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
My kids are the school food's terrible. They used to like it in Pittsburgh, but I don't know.
They changed it.
Yeah, down here.
But
they don't like the North Carolina school food.
It's just the little things I really feel your pain on the school lunch, though. I really do.
That's the worst part of summer ending. You're I gotta make lunches again.
Yes.
But they're going back to school. Oh yeah. I'm so conflicted. How should I feel?
Right? I can make a lunch if they're in school all day, right? It's a big pain. I mean, it's those little things I have to make a snack every day and I can't forget to make the snack. And then just, managing everybody else's schedules. But
What do you guys use? Are you a digital calendar type person for managing those day-to-day family schedules?
Yeah. I used to have the handwritten, but then the nice thing with I'm Mac across the board. So I use our iCalendar, but I have shared calendars so that I share them with Ted. And it's really convenient because the kids have 2 separate baseball, softball schedules right now. And Ted's a coach for both teams. So he's really got a lot of stuff going on too. But I've added in the shared calendar every game with the field location.
Yeah.
They have something like if there's something at school that he needs to be on. So I don't even have to tell him. It just pops up on his calendar.
Right.
And it's so much easier that way. But I don't put in the kids' drop-offs and pickups, even though I probably should on the shared calendar because they're different every day. And Ted's like, wait, which kid comes out today at which time? I was like, I just remember those things.
Right.
Yeah, because like, what is it? Wednesday, Thursdays, Milo gets out at 2:30, Willie gets out at 4:15, but other days of the week, they both get out at 3:15 and, all these things.
That's funny. I know when I go away for a week, I have like this like 3-page document of like Monday.
Oh, I know.
Here's all the things. Tuesday.
I do that too. I literally I hand write it out for Ted. I'm like, drop-offs, pickups, they need snacks this day, they need water bottles, they need, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because and then he'll call me and be like, what do they have? I'm like, did you look at the sheet? I mean, and then another thing though about like being out of town and like not being able to be here to manage it.
Right.
I used to stress over it. Like, do I need to let their clothes out for the week? And then I finally got to the point where I thought, Ted can handle it. I'll give him the schedule. He'll be able to do snacks and uniforms and whatever it is. I'm not going to worry about it. And I've been gone some for work lately, and I just I call and I check in, and I don't worry about pickups anymore because I just can't. I'm not there. There's nothing I can do. So I kind of just let that go. And that was hard. That was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Not micromanage
For sure.
Ted. But I know that he doesn't like it when I do. So
yeah. Well, they'll figure it out. They're grown men. They're good.
You would hope, and yet not always.
I love it. All right, one last quick little point of day-to-day management. Like when you sit down at your desk on like Tuesday morning, do you have like any good hacks for just like keeping your week on track of work stuff?
Yeah. So at the beginning of every week, I always look at my full week ahead and see what I have coming up. So I just kind of know in advance because I hate to sit down and be like, oh crap, I forgot I have a call. I like to be prepared for everything that I have coming up. But when I'm working at my computer, I try not to get distracted because distraction is like the easiest. Like, if you're looking at something, an ad pops up on, I'm going to go online shop for 30 minutes. Oh no.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
So I pull my calendar up. I see what I have going on. I shut off my mail because my mail continues to pop up. And I used to not do that, like, especially when I have calls, and it was so distracting. And even just when I'm trying to work, it's like, oh, I'll just go respond to this email real quick. And then you get totally sidetracked. So I close everything. I close the message
notifications
app.
Are terrible.
Yeah. And I literally sit there if I have something that I know is on my calendar that I have to do, and I turn everything off. I will put Pandora on just so I have music or some background, and I try to knock it out. I used to when I used to really, like, I've gotten good at doing this now where I can just sit there and do it. But I used to use that tomato timer or the whatever they call it.
Oh, Pomodoro.
Yeah, and it helped me because it was like, okay, I've got 30 minutes or whatever it is, and I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to take a break.
Yep.
Then I got to the point where I could just do it. But I definitely plan my week out every Sunday night. I look at the entire week and just kind of get myself mentally ready for what I have. Because I'm very busy between, just like, not just like personal stuff is super busy, but like shooting for clients. And then I have lots of calls, which I love doing those, and, just being present there. So it's, I need to mentally know where my week is going because otherwise I'll get overwhelmed.
Right. Yeah. I do the same. My Sunday night, I sit down and then I have everything on my iCal. Then I have my calendar that I share with Brett. And then I have like a business one that I don't, which is like, hey, don't forget to pay estimated taxes, whatever, like random stuff that's not appointments. And then he has his calendar. So we all have a gazillion calendars on there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot. There's a lot of iCals.
Yes, they're all color coded.
And I still don't understand why our school district doesn't have like the school iCal that I can just subscribe to. So every year I have to put in. Yeah. Like it's not that hard.
It's not. And I have to search for the calendar, and then it's like a PDF. So I have to manually put it all.
Yes.
It's
so annoying. Yeah. So I can outsource that to my future assistant.
That's amazing. Yes. That's like, God, think of all the things with an assistant that you don't worry about.
Start making a list, and then it's like 3 hours a week. You get it all back.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Sunday night I sit down and I take it from my digital calendar, and then I've been loving the software Tweak.
I've heard about this a lot. Somebody mentioned it on one of my calls. I need to look into it more because I've heard great things about Tweak.
I love it. And so it's like a super simple, because there's some of these time management apps and you're like, I need to take a whole course and spend a lot of time to learn how to use this time management app. This is so clean. And I literally just put my appointments in for the week. So I can kind of see exactly the week on one view. And then as the week happens, I have all my projects under a column at the bottom. So I can open up conservation fund. Here's what I need, what's working on here. I can open up because I'm running 37 businesses over here.
Yes.
So, so I have all those, and then I have like my personal to-dos and then some business to-dos. And, as I think of something randomly while I'm in the shower, out running errands, I can just I just dump it onto Tweak there. And then I can move it wherever it needs to be. But that way it can get out of my head, because I have found things just need to get out of my head as soon as they pop in, or they're going to be gone, or I'm just going to feel completely stressed out about it because I'm trying to manage all this stuff without writing it down.
And that's things when you think something you need to do and then just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I'll have to look at that, because I usually put it down in a note on my phone when I think of it. And it's too, if you're thinking, I do that too when I have when I'm going to be speaking somewhere, I'll have this great thought, right when I go to bed, and I'm laying in bed, I'm I'll put it down because I'll forget it. I'll wake up the next morning and go, God, that was such a good thing. What was it?
No idea.
That may not. That's the brain is being pulled in a lot of different directions. So
yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, good. This was a great conversation. I hope you guys got some good advice, and don't forget our challenge. Mm-hmm. Let us know if you guys are in the Hair of the Dog community.hairofthedogacademy.com. Free. Come join us. Let us know what you are going to outsource, delete, or automate, in your life this week, personal or business, whatever. And because we want to know, or you can let us know on social.
Yes.
On Instagram.
For sure. What you're currently doing, because got some good ideas from you, Nicole, today on things I need to.
Yeah. I would love to know if you guys have any awesome time-saving hacks or things that really work for you in your time management. Let us know. Mm-hmm. But Kim, thank you so much for being here. People can find you in the Academy, but where else can they find you for your business page and all that good stuff?
So they can find me at kimhartz.com, and I've got a bunch of information on there. Well, not only about my business, but for other photographers. And then obviously in the Academy and in Elevate. And PPA too. I do some speaking for PPA as well. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm around. Thank you so much for having me. It was always
of course. Yes, so I'm sure we'll have you back on the podcast again soon for your 4th appearance.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, go ahead and take a screenshot of this episode on your phone and post it up there on your Instagram stories, and be sure to tag us at Hair of the Dog Academy. And we would just love to see how you're listening. And full disclosure, sometimes we just like to give away a little pet photographer swag in the form of Hair of the Dog t-shirts and sweatshirts. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and share that screenshot of this episode, and don't forget to tag us at Hair of the Dog Academy. And while you're there, maybe you want to jump on over to our account and see what we're up to on the gram. Would love to connect with you. Thanks for listening to the Hair of the Dog podcast. This was episode number 140. If you want to check out the show notes for access to any of the resources that we mentioned, simply go to www.hairofthedogacademy.com/140.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Hair of the Dog podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please take a minute to leave a review. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming episodes. One last thing, if you are ready to dive into more resources, head over to our website at www.hairofthedogacademy.com. Thanks for being a part of this pet photography community.